Welcome to Rooted and Radiant, a podcast dedicated to women's health and women's concerns with women's voices. Rooted and Radiant, hosted by Sarah Stagg with co-host Jessica Parker.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Rooted and Radiant. I am Sarah Stagg with the Ashley News Observer and Long Dog Yoga and Wellness. This is co-host Jessica Parker of Heaven Bound Earth Zone Skincare and Life Coaching. And this time we have a guest, Dr. Brandi Hill. She is of Hill Chiropractic Care over in West Crossett. Welcome and hello.
Thank you
for being here.
Be here. I'm excited.
We're very excited. We've been talking about this episode for quite some time. We're going to talk about cortisol, but first of all, I want to talk about a little bit how our history together. So Brandi and I grew up together, small town, same class. We graduated. I'm not going to tell the year. We graduated not so long ago, and went off on our different routes, and you ended up in Houston, Texas, and you were a part of a chiropractic clinic there?
I worked for another chiropractor.
Mm-hmm. And then about the same time, 2017-ish, we both came home with very different experiences, and I started using Dr. Hill to maintain a disc that was slipping at the time. And in our sessions, we got to talking, and she found out that there were two things I missed about not living wherever I lived. Shreveport was where I came back home from. But there were two things I missed, and one was Starbucks coffee, and one was yoga. And I couldn't really do anything about Starbucks coffee, but I could about yoga. She needed someone to prescribe her clients to go to for yoga, and so Long Dog Yoga and Wellness was born. So Dr. Hill was very instrumental, and your mom. Your mom was instrumental in that too. Very instrumental in that. And then, of course, Jessica and my history, we haven't known each other that long. We did not grow up together.
No.
You are about probably 10 years younger than me.
Yes.
Somewhere around there. And she left after she graduated.
Yes.
Did a bunch of experiences, had a whole life, and then moved back to small town America to raise your daughter.
Yes.
And we met at yoga class.
Yes, because that was the thing I missed. It was yoga,
Right.
and it was here.
It was here. And so from that, started conversations about how much her skincare and life coaching went hand in hand with the wellness that yoga promotes. And so we just joined our businesses together, and we are the Namaste Studio. So now all three of us are together, and we're going to talk about cortisol. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about the wellness wheel. Mm-hmm. We kind of gave an overview of all 8 of the pie slices, so to speak, in the wellness wheel. And we are landing still in the physical pie slice, but it sort of bleeds over into mental. So
Absolutely.
Just kind of bear with us as we just kind of straddle 2 pie slices. So cortisol, somebody define it. 1, 2, 3, who's going to do it?
You're the guest. Please go ahead. Give us your knowledge.
Cortisol is your stress hormone. And so whether it's physical stress when you're exercising, or when you have a sprain or strain, or it's emotional stress, your body releases cortisol, and it kind of regulates blood pressure, your blood sugar. So like for fight or flight, say there's a danger, it automatically will raise your blood pressure. It'll sharpen your focus. It releases sugar into the bloodstream so that you have that burst of energy so that you can either run or fight.
Right, okay.
And typically when the body's working like it should be, cortisol is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's great when you're exercising. It does help give you that energy like we just said. The problem comes in is when you're under prolonged stress.
Mm-hmm.
So you're constantly stressed out, whether it's emotional or physical, and you have too much cortisol in the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
So in normal amounts, it's a great thing. And like with everything, too much of it is a bad thing.
That's right. We want to keep it in balance. So there are different effects on the body if you have a high cortisol level and a low cortisol level. So tell me about high cortisol. What do you see in your clients with high cortisol?
So a lot of times I deal with a lot of the emotional stressors from everything, and a lot of times what I'm going to say, their first thing is I'm not sleeping. It's waking up in the middle of the night. It is, and then of course we go into working with women that are wanting to feel that natural beauty. It's the moon face. It is the belly weight. And then of course the classic symptom, their neck pain.
Mhm.
And so that is where, if we talk about the physical, is where I see it. That eventually goes into the mental because we're lacking confidence now. Our body doesn't look like we wanted it to look. And and then I also see it with a lot of women that suffer from infertility. Is a big thing, and it is their body in some way has been in fight or flight. I experienced it in trauma. That was where mine was, and for 2 years I fought the moon phase. I could not figure it out, and so I dug into cortisol from my own personal experience of fight or flight, and so I see that more in women with the appearance. That's where they come to me and they can't figure out the belly plate. They can't figure out the moon phase. They can't figure out their sleep pattern. So that's where my experience comes in to the high cortisol, how they present.
And then low cortisol, like Dr. Hill said, we want to keep it in balance. So what does low cortisol present as?
So with low cortisol, I see a lot of your tiredness. Like that is where, and honestly, a lot of women, I will be just honest, low cortisol to me is going to be, to me it's an anemia. It almost kind of counteracts, you see a lot of coldness, I see a lot of the extremities are being cold. So that is how I present. Most women that are going to come to me are not going to be fighting with low.
Right.
We're going to be fighting with high.
Yeah. Now, in the chiropractic world, what were you going to say?
No, it is typically high, and it's like she was saying, it causes a lot of physical symptoms, even much the heart disease, because cortisol regulates your blood pressure, and then diabetes, obesity, because cortisol regulates your blood sugar, and then the mental issues, the depression, fatigue, chronic fatigue, anxiety. I know we don't like that word, but the mind fog that everybody complains about today. You're going to hear that a lot, and they want to blame it on COVID or on this or that. It's cortisol. It's too much cortisol.
So tell me this, because I have these kind of weird thoughts about fluorescent lights and the motor on the fridge running, and then your screen is throwing off vibrations, and just all the different fast-paced gizmos, all the things going. Does that keep our cortisol levels elevated? Are we reacting to this constant movement around us with our cortisol?
You definitely do. Your mind is hearing it whether you think it is or not. That's why a lot of people can't sit in a quiet room. And they can't sit and be still because they're so used to just go and go and go. And even if they're sitting still, you've got all these things that you were just talking about pinging off your body and off your energy.
So it's, to me, I think it is imperative that we, all of us, start a practice of get away from this. Put this in a different room. I think you advised to put it in a different room when you're asleep.
Yes.
Don't sleep with it in the same room. Definitely don't go to sleep playing a game or scrolling on, social media. But I think it needs to be beyond that, where we on purpose, go to a wooded spot and just step out on a trail, on a path, on a something, and just breathe and be there, where really maybe you hear the leaves rustling. But there's not that constant stimulation.
Put your feet in the dirt.
Yeah.
Put your
Yes.
feet in the dirt for just a little while. I say that actually having a teenage daughter, I say that all the time. And I think our kids experience high cortisol and we don't realize it. And just because, like the fluorescent lights, they do Chromebooks now instead of paper. And so, no, I tell her that all the time. I'm like, please just walk outside barefooted. Like, just go sit outside, talk to God barefooted for a second. You'll feel better.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say step outside, because there are natural ways, and I know we were talking about low cortisol, now we're back on high cortisol, because mainly that is what we see and what we experience in today's world. Natural ways to bring it down. What would those be?
The most important two, I won't say most important, the two that you're going to get the best results is exercise, that fun word everybody loves.
I love it.
And then what you're eating, what you're putting in. Not only what you're eating, but eliminating things from the diet too. So the exercise, you want to focus on cardio. And I'm not saying go run a marathon, but 15 to 30 minutes a day of
Nothing
cardio.
wrong with marathons either.
Nothing wrong with marathons, but you don't have to do that in order to get the results that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So 15 to 30 minutes of cardio a day.
Okay.
And then if you do need to lift weights, because that's going to help get toxins out of the muscles. So low weight, a lot of reps if you're going to do the weightlifting side of it.
And I find it interesting that you landed on exercise first because, and something we were talking about right before we started here, is I feel like cortisol became a mainstream term thanks to, in large part, the fitness world, where they connected cardio to high levels of cortisol and started almost not branding, that's not the word I'm looking for, but giving it the reputation, cortisol the reputation of being bad, or cardio the reputation of being bad. And so then there was almost this backlash of, you shouldn't do cardio, no more cardio, and I just want to bust that wide open. Like, that's just not true. Cardio is good for us, and here you are saying that cardio can lead to lower cortisol.
Yeah, you get up, get that heart rate going, it gets the blood moving, that's what's going to flush that excess cortisol out of your system. The body was designed to be in motion. When we sit around and we're not moving, when our heart is stagnant, everything becomes stagnant. You've got to get up and move and get that heart rate going to flush that system out.
Yeah, and one more thing, and then I want one of my favorite ways of lowering cholesterol that you said has something to do with the sunshine in the morning. So remind me that we want to talk about that, but I totally lost my train of thought. We were talking about exercise and, cardio. Get the heart rate up. You said you don't have to do a marathon, and you said that the muscle strengthening.
Yes.
So a lot of people think that to do cardio, you've got to do things like jumping jacks and running and very high-paced things, spin. But you could do weightlifting, and if you are working the major muscles, the glutes, the quads, you're going to get your heart rate up because those are powerhouse muscles, and the heart has to work harder to work those. So keep that in mind. Don't just discredit cardio because you think it's a bunch of running and high impact on the joints. But I wanted, one of my favorite answers to how do you naturally lower cholesterol is what you said about what you can do in the morning.
Morning sunlight.
Yes.
That is, our body works in a circadian rhythm. And our cortisol works in a 24-hour span. So when we wake up, and a lot of times my clients know an hour before, like wait an hour before you ingest caffeine, 15 minutes of sunlight. That right there will do so much to help. But not only that, 15 minutes of being in God's presence, in sunshine, outside in nature, that's going to do so. Your immune system. We're talking about vitamin D. Like, I mean, that goes so much beyond cortisol. But also that morning sunlight that tells your body we're fixing to move, we're fixing to start working, and it peaks. So your cortisol peaks an hour after waking up. 60 minutes after waking up is your highest cortisol, and then it kind of comes down all throughout the day, and that is what creates the circadian rhythm, which is going to tell your body when to go to sleep. And then as we sleep, our cortisol levels actually rise. And I think a lot of people think that they don't rise at night, and they actually kind of build up at night so that your body can release it in the daytime in order for you to have the fight or flight move throughout the day. And so, morning sunlight, like that's, I'm gonna spin off for just a second. I just want to say this. I was actually listening to a podcast on the way over here, and it was a nurse that stepped away from the medical field, and one of her biggest things is we have helicopter pads on top of hospitals where used to there was sunbeds for patients, and so sunlight, like it is. It's good. And the best healer that we have that we don't utilize enough of. And it plays cortisol tremendously as well.
Yeah. And something that we say, a word we say in here a lot is intention, and moving with intention and doing things on purpose. And so the everyday person, we wake up and we immediately go to the caffeine source, whatever that is, coffee, whatever. And you're saying wait an hour.
Wait 1 hour.
Wait 1 hour.
If we give our body a chance to say, I'm awake, I'm moving, we go ahead. I'm big on stretching first thing in the morning. And it doesn't have to be, put your arms up over your head, move just a minute. And then ingest water, not cold water, not ice water, room temperature spring water. That opens your cells up, that tells your body, we're fixing to do something, we're fixing to be active. and then give your body the chance to even wake up on its own and produce the hormones naturally that it does before we throw caffeine in it. Because now caffeine raises our cortisol. So we're raising cortisol before it even peaks, and then we're jittery and we're ready to fight or flight. And then the next thing we know, we're crashing. And it's because we've got our cortisol doing this instead of being able to be in alignment and flow. So,
That's right. Yeah. So in the chiropractic world, why did you get interested in cortisol? From a chiropractor's point of view, why is cortisol and being aware of it in your body?
Well, I mean, it
important?
affects the muscles, it's gonna affect your nervous system, it's gonna affect your immune system, and that's what we, as chiropractors, are focused on. I started doing this as part of a marketing. I used to have to go do lunch and learns for one of the practices I worked at. And I picked stress because it affects everyone, but also because I believe that stress is literally killing us. It's responsible for the heart disease, the obesity, the diabetes, the poor immune systems, cancer. I mean, I could go on and on. And it all comes back to stress and cortisol levels.
And I want to pause right there and just tell y'all, kind of look ahead. We have something called Go Red Ashley County here in our area, and they are fixing to host one of our premier banquets, and it's not the most important one, but it's one of the most important ones. They are going to spend 2 weeks with health screenings, and then followed by the banquet, where they're going to focus on a lot of what we're talking about. Stress levels and heart disease, and how stress is killing both men and women, but it's just killing us all. And so I want to look ahead and maybe get y'all to look into that. Look them up on Facebook, Google them, AI them, whatever you want to do. Look them up and get to either the screening and or the banquet. So acupuncture, I see that in your list of ways to diminish high cortisol levels. Tell me about that.
So acupuncture, it's a 4,000-year-old practice that involves taking little tiny needles and you put them in a specific pattern. There's one specifically for reducing cortisol levels. But then if your cortisol, if it's causing, like you mentioned before, the neck pain, then we do it around the neck to relax those muscles. It increases circulation in the body. So it's going to help flush the cortisol out, it's going to help those muscles relax, and it's going to help get rid of the pain. So it's more treating, well, not more, it treats the side effects of the high cortisol as well as helping lower that cortisol. Acupuncture is just a great tool for a lot of different things.
Yes,
but
agreed.
it's very relaxing, and it's very much helps reset that nervous system.
Yeah. I think that we can also alter our way of eating, and we avoid the D word, the diet word. We avoid the diet word.
I don't like
so
that
I don't either. So the way of eating, we alter that for most everything. Can we do that for cortisol?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me about it.
High protein, I mean, there's a bunch of different things, and even if you can only do one or two, you don't have to take this list and do them all, but a high protein diet, and combined with low saturated fats, it's going to get rid of your belly fat, the protein's going to keep you full, it's going to increase your energy. There's supplements that you can add, there's a lot of herbs, which I'm sure you know a lot about, teas and recipes that you can put the herbs in, protein shakes that are going to help reduce the reflux. It's going to speed up your metabolism. It's going to help aid in digestion. Because one of the things the high cortisol does is it slows your digestion down because it wants you to be able to, for fight or flight, you got to be able to run or fight.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of gut problems that come along with it that your diet can help with. Omega-3s are really good. Your berries, anything that's going to be an antioxidant that's going to help rid your body of those toxins. Magnesium is a really good one. It helps relax the body, and it actually helps regulate cortisol. And you can get it through different foods, and then I know she said you have a whole line of magnesium products if you want to talk about that.
Yes, so I actually now have a magnesium infused tallow, as well as it is number 48. It's an oil. It has got a lot of Veviter in it as well, and so that helps with muscle pain, anxiety. It has got chamomile mix in it. I think it is best used on the bottom of the feet at night. The bottom of our feet are some little sponges. They know some stuff. So I have that oil. It's also going to help with sore muscles. I tell a lot, doing lymphatic massages at home, right here on the neck with that magnesium, especially for high cortisol. So we have that coming out. It will be available next week. I actually want to ask you a question real quick. And so do you see with the neck pain, it's just in our area, and you don't, I know like HIPAA guidelines, but in women, do you see more neck pain than you do in men? That is just something, that's a curiosity question that.
Yes, women carry most of their stress in their neck and shoulders, where men, it tends to hold up in the low back for whatever reason. So yeah.
Well, I got it all. Neck pain and low back pain.
And then, I mean, you can go into women are more likely to be the ones with desk jobs. And I don't know if we want to be that stereotypical, where men are more physical labor.
Yeah, around here,
So
yes.
in CrossFit especially.
Yeah.
A lot of the neck problems too is the looking down that we all do, whether it be for your job or for taking care of kids or just reading and scrolling on our phones.
Yeah,
of course.
again, get out in the trees and look up.
But yeah, I know.
That's what I'm hearing.
In yoga, you talk about it too. Just women tend to carry their stress more, neck and shoulders for whatever reason, and men in the low back.
Now,
It's
you
interesting.
offer gua sha through your practice.
Yes.
Is that good for cortisol lowering?
It can be with the lymphatic drainage, like she was
Okay.
saying. There's a lymphatic protocol that we do with the gua sha to help that lymph system drain, and that's what's going to rid the body of that excess cortisol.
And I know you learned a lot of your knowledge of lymphatic drainage through your career in wound care.
Yes.
And so do you want to talk about that at all?
So what got me interested is we had so many people with lymphedema. And so of course I want to know why. And so that kind of started in with the legs and the veins and the arteries and how we could actually get that flowing. And then it just started making more sense to me to work on the full body. And so now I'm so big on lymphatic drainage. I think that if a lot more people understood, that's our garbage disposal of our whole body. Like, so toxins, cortisol, anything that needs to be flushed out, it has to go through that lymphatic system. And something that hit me so hard, and I think I've said this several times and even in a couple of your classes, everything, us as women, we have a big area of lymph nodes right underneath our armpits. So it happens, everything that you're touching chemical-wise during the day has to filter through here first. And then we think about breast cancer, and like I said, when I worked with a lot of oncologists, one of the first things they would do was tell women, cut out fragrances, cut out all of this, where maybe if we would have cut that out before, we wouldn't have dumped into our lymphatic system here. And and then of course it goes into your memory nodes right in here. So I mean, it all kind of, the lymphatic system intrigued me to know in, and just working in wound care and seeing the fluids and how our wound, how that drained and how that healed, and how getting those toxins out of our bodies and giving our body a way to naturally clean itself up is one of, I think, the biggest things us as women we can do at home. And no, the gua sha, like, that is awesome. No, like, so look, I'm learning something. I did not know we had that here. I will actually be referring a lot of clients because it's something that us as, and not just women, but
Everybody, men, children, women.
yes,
Absolutely.
like I teach a lot, like even because of course us as women, we worry about what we look like. And that is what I tell women, like if you would work on draining that lymphatic, they're like, I don't have an hourglass figure. Well, you really might underneath all that fluid. Like, because I didn't think I did either. You know what I mean? Like, and I found it. And I found it through lymphatic drainage. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and everything in the body is just a building block for something else.
Right.
So as you, in the holistic wellness world, as you start to intentionally pay attention to your cortisol levels, you're going to have this ripple effect through the body, and it's going to be very positive. And you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to look better. I mean, you showed me that lymphatic massage for your midsection, and I'm a slender person, but I've always felt fat ever since I was a kid. And then when she showed me this lymphatic massage in my midsection, all of a sudden, that feeling of being very thick and heavy in my center, it's gone. And so I just encourage you to look up lymphatic massage. Look up who in your area offers it. Go there. Call Dr. Hill. She'll get you set up with the gua sha, And then do you offer lymphatic massage?
I don't. I do
Okay.
the gua sha and I do acupuncture to help the lymphatic strain. But if I know that you do, absolutely, we can send people that way too.
Yes, and now I teach it. I teach you how at home.
Yeah, that's even better to
Yeah.
me because I think people will respond more to that. Than,
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think it's our hands are so powerful, and I
Yes.
think as women, we are not comfortable touching our own body,
Mm.
and we get so self-conscious.
Yes.
And I tell everybody, put your hands on your body, and
Yes.
it doesn't. And I think that in today we're talking about taboo topics. It's sexual to touch your body, and it's
Right.
like, no, you can love yourself. And in a way of put your hands on your body, do those massages, and you will be so much comfortable in the skin that you're in. And I know a lot of women, just because from society, it feels, I guess, uncomfortable for them at first to even
Yes.
start those drainages,
Right.
to even, and it's
It's
some
so-
power in them palms.
It's so funny that you say that because another reason why our meeting and is so God led, because and we talk about it, probably talk about it on here more than anybody even wants to hear about. But I had gut health issues. I mean, and it was not debilitating. I wasn't staying in the house, but I would leave work sometimes just to go home and get in the bathtub and soak because I felt so terrible. And one of the things that I would not do was I never wanted to touch my belly. I never wanted. And shortly before we met, I had started intentionally, when I went to bed, I would lay with my hands on my belly. And it became easier and easier and easier. And then fast forward a little bit, it's like God had set that up. So now Jessica can tell her to do that lymphatic drain through her midsection. And right away I did it. I didn't have to coach myself through touching my midsection. So yes, I think that really resonates with me, that we do not want to touch our own self. And that's something that needs to be fixed. Real quick, we want to just take a break and throw it to our sponsor this week, and we'll be right back.
If you fell in the yard and felt something jar, call Hill Chiropractic. She's fantastic. If you sneeze and feel a crack, can't stand up, oh, my back. Call Dr. Hill. You'll be thrilled. If you've been in a wreck, now you can't turn your neck. Can Dr. Hill come up with a plan? Hill, yeah, she can. Hill Chiropractic, changing lives, one spine at a time.
And we are back. I do want to mention real quick, if you want to sponsor this podcast, you can do that through the Ashley News Observer. The number is 870-364-5186. You can ask for Sarah Stagg, and we can get you hooked up with that if you would like to sponsor Rooted and Radiant. So when we left, we had touched on a little bit of a lot of things, and I want to just kind of revisit some. And one of the things I want to revisit is what we are ingesting, what our way of eating is. And we talk a lot about eating, but I want to talk about what we're drinking. What do we need to drink?
Water.
And we're talking about cortisol, by the way. Lowering our cortisol. And she said water. And I see it on her
Drink
notes.
water.
Hydrate 3 times.
In bold and all caps.
Yes.
Dehydration is going to raise your cortisol levels, and so you've got to get that water in the body. But the water's also, it helps flush your system out. It's going to pull the toxins out. It's going to make you pee. It's going to make you flush everything out. There are 1 trillion chemical reactions that take place in the body every day, and every single one of them needs water to function correctly.
You have told me that 1 trillion times before. And it's mind-blowing every time.
And I still, when I go to eat a meal, I want that soda.
You know, and I do not drink anything with my meals.
That's
It is
good. You're
weird.
not supposed to,
Well, okay.
because that's going to dilute your stomach acid.
Oh.
And it's going to mess with your digestion. You're
Okay.
really not supposed to drink with meals.
Okay. High water content foods, does that count toward hydration?
It does.
Okay.
Because you're still going to get that water. So
And-
watermelon, things
Yeah,
like that. Absolutely.
Okay. Raw fruits, raw
I mean,
vegetables.
that's what they tell us in the summer to give our livestock outside. Give them watermelon because it helps them stay hydrated. So the same thing is good for people.
While we are talking about what we ingest, well, real quick before, because something that I learned about dehydration, and I learned this from my massage therapist, there is a cottage cheesy look that can happen to the body, and you're going to think it's cellulite. And so what happens is you think, oh, I've got cellulite, I need to work that, and now you're working harder and it's not going away and it's getting worse and you're not drinking water, and that is actually a look that can happen because of dehydration. Yes. And I did not know that. And so a lot of times when clients come to me and one of their goals, and we've talked about goals, I don't like goals, but one of their goals is to get rid of cellulite. I say, well, first of all, let's talk about your water intake. So water it's just important, and you know what, suck it up, buttercup, and start drinking water. And I'm talking to myself because I preach it, but I will drink a cup of coffee over and over and over all day long. But if you put water in that cup, and I'm just like, okay, and it's like a task, but just do it. I mean,
it is something you have to be intentional about.
Yeah, you have to.
And you don't have to get the gallon of water in a day like that. Like
just drink water.
Now, if you're going to the gym 2-3 times a day, you probably are going to get that gallon in. But on an average person, just drink water.
Yeah, just drink water. And that's so funny that you said that, because I think that there is so much information out there. It's at our fingertips. It's in our face with the TV and whatever. And there's so many, do this, not this, eat this, not this, all of these messages, and it gets so confusing and so overwhelming that we end up not doing anything. And so I love how you just simplified. Don't worry about how much water do I need to drink a minute. How much water do I need to drink in a full day? 8 cups, 2 cups, just drink water. Just drink water. And it's baby steps. We've talked about baby steps in here to move yourself into a holistic wellness lifestyle. Do that today. Drink 1 more cup of water than you did yesterday. And if you didn't drink any yesterday, drink a cup of water. And then move from there. So in what we ingest, so we talked about water, we have talked about foods, but I wanted to talk to you about something that you had told me yesterday. You discovered a new recipe. You made it up, and it was so good.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I did chicken breast. And,
so there's your protein.
And then goat cheese is so much better for you than just going and getting regular cheese. So I did garlic and herb goat cheese. I just split the chicken breast, stuffed the goat cheese in there, and at Walmart, of course, there's a small little thing of goat cheese, so it divides up perfectly serving size wise between 3 breasts. Mm-hmm. We had an amazing client bring us fresh rosemary and we dried it out, and I wrapped the chicken in the rosemary. So we've got, and also y'all already know right now we're cooking with cayenne, turmeric, and black pepper.
Yes. Is that your go-to spices?
The Trinity.
Yeah, for the winter, that is energy, that is heart health, that is immunity.
Say again, what is it? Turmeric, black pepper,
and cayenne.
And cayenne pepper.
Those are my winter seasonings. Now I'll throw a little bit of sage in there just because I love rub sage flavoring. Thyme as well, but the rosemary with that garlic and herb goat cheese was.
It's decadent.
Yes.
It's decadent. It's like you went to a restaurant, and we don't have to go to a restaurant for foods like that, and they are healthy.
And I think a lot of people Tony's, slap you
mama. Okay.
The garlic, powder and all. And when we go to a restaurant and it tastes so good, and we're like, that's a treat.
Yeah.
But they're cooking with a lot of natural herbs. And so I think that don't be scared of them.
Yeah.
At all. Thyme is amazing. I love cooking with natural herbs, and it helps you to want to eat them at home. And when you're eating at a restaurant, you can't always know what they're cooking it in. Tallow and butter are my thing. But you don't know if they're cooking it in vegetable oil. You have no idea what oils any of your things are being cooked in, how they're handled, what toxins. Are they using a plastic cutting board? Because just little FYI, throw your plastic cutting boards out. If you have a plastic cutting board in your house that you use frequently, little thing I listened to the other day and researched, it is the same equivalent of eating your credit card once a year. You get that amount of plastic and cutting on a plastic cutting board.
Yeah, and I do wood. I have a wooden cutting board. Is that good?
Yes, and also, so if you want to keep chemicals off of that, I keep a bottle of tea tree oil and lemon oil, and I just have it mixed up in a little amber bottle. And when I get done, I wipe down my wood cutting board, especially if I've done meat. And I just kind of saturate it in tea tree and lemon oil. And those are so antimicrobial, and just let it set back into that wood, and it's not going to hurt your food. So that's just a little quick cleaning tip.
I love it. And also, just to kind of draw the line from point A to point B, when we cook with herbs and we're cooking proteins, and we're not just feeding our face, we're fueling our body. And we're not just fueling it to energize and to keep us going to the next meal. You're fueling your immune system, you're fueling your circulatory system, the lymphatic system we've talked about. You are fueling all of these systems that God gave you that work together. What, 1 trillion, what was it, chemical reactions?
Yes.
That's happening in your body millisecond by millisecond, all
And
this
that's what people
activity.
used to eat before all of these preserved foods
Yes.
hit the market.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
herbs, and that's what you did for your seasonings and your flavorings, but they
Yeah.
also serve a purpose
Yes.
in fueling the body. I mean,
That's
the
right.
Native Americans knew that. They lived on every single herb. That's how we know what these
That's
herbs do.
Yeah.
And they taste great, and they, like you said, it tastes like something decadent that you would go pay for in a restaurant, and it's so easy to do.
Yeah, and not to knock restaurant eating. I love going out to eat.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We don't do it a whole lot. You know, I can remember growing up, we might go out on Sunday after church.
Right.
And now, the average family around here, we're going out to eat multiple times a week. And I think that is another intentional step you can take toward holistic wellness, that true mind, body, spirit, consistent work toward good health. I mean, I just think that's another thing. Get out of the restaurants and get home. Get in your kitchen.
Yes,
Get in your kitchen.
and it goes back to, y'all know we're going to talk about Jesus. It goes back to praying over your food. You're setting intention.
Yes.
I think as a mother, that's so big. I can see a difference in my child when someone else is feeding her and when her mom is praying over that food while I'm cooking. And I think that's time with God. It's intention. And you can put so much energy in that food that you're not just cooking with. But that's it. They said Grandma used to put her foot in it. Grandma used to put some Jesus in that food. You just didn't know it. You know, and that goes a long way. And like you said, the herbs and all of that, like, it's so intentional with the seasons. And
Yes.
I think it overwhelms people, though, because they're like, where do
It
I start?
does.
Okay.
It does, and that kind of goes back to what I said before, but just pick one. There's this
Yeah.
whole, you can Google foods that will reduce cortisol, and you're going to come up with this whole list of things. Just pick one or two
Yeah.
to add into your dinner, or pick one to add into each meal. Just start with one.
And I think what you'll find, and I know what you'll find, as you pick one and then get that into your process, and then pick another one and kind of rotate that into your weekly grocery run, and then another, what you'll find is you feel better, you're looking better, and you're not looking toward products that are forcing your body to do what it's naturally designed to do. Probiotics, prebiotics, that's a big confusing thing to me, and I'm not even sure that's not just some marketing term. I have a marketing degree, and we'll do that, you know. So I'm not sure. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying I'm not so sure about that. But if you are eating, you're eating to fuel your body. You're not going to have to go to the pharmacy aisle in your grocery store to pick up stuff in a bottle that's forcing your body to do what the foods that God gave us are designed to do.
Absolutely.
The body is designed to react in certain ways to foods.
Absolutely.
So let's see, what have we not talked about? What else is on there?
The other things that I had is just ways to reduce the cortisol. Anything you're going to do that's going to help the body relax. So a hot bath, a hot shower at the end of the day, meditation, and that can be anything from reading your Bible a certain amount of time, reading a book of positive affirmations, anything that's going to just kind of slow the mind down. Yoga is a big one. I know you've got an anti-anxiety, anti-stress relief flow
so
that you do.
On Wednesday evenings here in CrossFit, we have anti-anxiety yoga, and a lot of that is movements designed to slow the body down. So you think about going to a studio and you're, in a class, you think about amping everything up. But we're doing moves that really slow you down to the natural pace. You are breathing in deep through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. That's where we start every one of our yoga flows, whether it's anti-anxiety or not. But that's where we started. A lot of times in anti-anxiety, I'll pull in massage. So we'll do a face massage or a foot massage or a hand massage. And it's just relaxing the body. And really, you're slowing the body down. When you start with the breath, everything, as we talked about a chain reaction, everything else slows down. Your thoughts slow down. So if you're one that has racing thoughts, you better bet that's creating cortisol in your body, because that's stressful for your mind to just be zinging and zanging from topic to topic. So we slow the breathing down, you slow thoughts down, the organs start to, those trillions of chemical reactions, now they're slowing down and coming to the natural pace that we're designed to move at. So yoga, yeah, I'm biased. I really enjoy it. I enjoy teaching it.
Yes.
It's a God gift for me. I really think I'm called to do it. If you don't believe me, because I'm biased, ask any of my clients. If you run into them, she's a client, she's done yoga with me. You can find them in town and ask them. So yoga's really good. Meditation, that's something that I use at the end of all my yoga flows. We do meditate at the end, and sometimes I do guided meditations. Sometimes I'm just saying breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and that kind of puts people, it does put people in a meditative state. I will say there's lots of apps, you've mentioned that, lots of meditation apps, and I know that I've said get out of this phone, but you can use it as a tool, and you can even use it as a tool for meditation. And I use Lectio 365, and that sends you a notice 3 times a day, so that you are praying in the morning, you pray in the middle of the day, and you pray at night. And I am slowly shifting into, because y'all, today, once we get up and get going, we are expected to not stop. And so to stop everything in the middle of your day, that's huge. That's not a baby step. That's huge. But I'm telling you, that has really helped the rest of my day go so much smoother. There's none of that end of day frenzy to get everything done. You know what? If I get it done, I get it done, and that's enough. If I don't, it's going to be waiting on my desk for me the next day.
There's a lot of cultures that go by that. They stop their whole day in the middle of the day to take a nap.
That's right.
And they,
What?
I know, right? But it's
Where
true.
are we
It's
living?
right. It's that reset, because, and this is part of the thing on there, maintaining the right attitude. Your mind is such a powerful tool, and that reset, that relaxation meditation is part of that. Maintaining the right attitude, your positive thoughts, meditation, some of those apps will focus on that.
That's right.
Because what you put out there is what you get back. If it's
Yeah.
constantly negative, you're going to draw negative to
That's
you.
right.
But if you can switch that, even for 15 minutes a day during that meditation time, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
If you can't do it on your own, seek professional help.
That's right.
Yes.
I have a great therapist I can recommend. If you don't want to see mine, I've got 12 others I can send you to. But and that goes into this social support. It just helps having somebody that can help you kind of learn to retrain your thoughts, because it is such a big deal as far as
Yes, the thought process.
Yes.
That is one of the biggest things, even with the gut detox that we do every month. Fridays is nothing but affirmations, and it is nothing but me letting them know, keep going. It is a positive influence to let them know you didn't fail. And I think a lot of times we forget, it's those little bitty switches that you can play in your mind. I'm not going to say this.
Yes.
I'm going to say something positive.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
stopping it.
Yeah.
And it changes your whole, it brings you peace.
Uh-huh.
It brings you that minute of, it really is okay.
Yeah, and I think you can identify with this because you have a young teenage daughter. I have 3 nieces, and I noticed as they entered that almost in between the little kid and the teenager, they started, I would say something like, well, I just look goofy. Or, start that negative self-talk. And so what I would do is I would stop. I would say, okay, now tell me 3 things that you like about yourself. And so now they're up in their 20s and not mid-20s, not yet, but early 20s. And I bet you if I asked them today, do they remember doing that, they would say yes. And I
Right.
bet you it set up a more positive pattern, life pattern.
Yes.
It matters. Words
It
are
does.
powerful.
They are, and I'm the same way in my house. Like the teenagers in there, we're all beautiful.
Mhm.
Like, no, I'm so big on that. Like what you say in the mirror.
Mhm.
I also clean Ashlyn's mirror once a week while she's not there, and I pray over it.
Oh.
And I
Oh,
speak
wow.
positivity into her mirror because energy lingers. I don't think we
Yeah.
realize a word is a vibration.
Uh-huh.
And you're literally putting this vibration, whether it is positive or negative, just like this sitting right in front of me
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
sending off energy, as am I.
Mhm.
And so I don't think we realize that is going out and creating our
That's right.
reality. And so that's how I explain that to Ashlyn is I'm like, whatever you say, I want you to think as it's creating a path. It's narrow and it gets wider.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and you've got to walk behind your words.
Yeah.
And so that's how I try to like give her that visual.
Mhm.
Make sure that you're saying positive
Yeah.
and walk in light.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and I think cortisol wise, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
that's
off. But cortisol wise as well, like when we get those racing thoughts, if we
does.
can remember for just a second to say that deep breath from yoga
Yeah.
Yeah.
and okay,
Mhm.
I need some positive affirmations right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And affirmation is a fancy word for a positive set of words directed at yourself. So if that kind of overwhelms you and you're like, well, I don't know what an affirmation is, go to the Bible. I mean, you are beautifully and
Well, I
wonderfully
was
made.
just- Yes.
Say that over and over. I am
Yes.
beautifully and wonderfully made. And that's not just something you made up. That's biblical. Start there. And then what I notice, and it's funny because it's in your notes, the law of attraction, what you put out there. What you are looking for, you will find.
Right.
And so if you start affirmations and you don't know where to start, but you start with one, you're going to start seeing them pop up everywhere. Probably your phone is listening, and so now affirmations is going to come up. But I mean, like in every, someone would come to you and say something, you'd be like, that'd be a good affirmation. Tuck that back and say it to yourself.
That's the first thing my therapist did when we started talking about this stress and anxiety. Before we ever got into the root cause of where it started, when I was 5, was to coping skills. And so she said, find a mantra.
Yes.
And I don't know what's a mantra and what's an affirmation.
Right.
I went to the Bible. And it happened, I was watching an auction my brother was doing, and it was on the wall behind one of them, and it said, fear not, a Bible verse, fear not,
Yeah.
for I am with you always.
Yes.
And that became my mantra when I first started this journey with her. When you start feeling those racing thoughts, you just stop, take a deep breath,
Yep.
say that mantra, and it kind of resets everything.
Yeah.
And it slows your mind down.
Yes.
So, and it's anything you can do to slow that mind down, to slow your body down, it's going to reduce those cortisol levels.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful tool. I think 90% of it can be handled through the mind alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is what got me into mindset and lifestyle coaching.
Yes.
Is I started realizing even like you said, our diabetes, our so many autoimmune diseases are related to the nervous system, which
They
is
are.
directly related back to our mindset. And as someone that had been in the medical field for 15 years, I was like, we're not healing. You said root cause too.
Yes.
We're not healing the root cause.
Yes, and I'm lucky that chiropractic is the route that I chose because that's how we look at everything. You want to get to the root cause of it.
Yes, and so now I love that because that's what led me where I'm at now is I wanted to find the root cause. And so like as I'm digging back, I'm like everything comes back to your mindset.
It does. It's
And
that nervous system.
yes, and if we can, and I don't want to say heal the nervous system, but I actually said this the other day, we're a generation of healing and not healed. And I think we forget to say, I can be healed of this.
Yeah.
And we're stuck in healing.
Well, you're stuck in symptom management.
Yes.
Instead of, again,
Agreed.
getting to the root cause.
Yes.
and
Yes.
fixing that.
Yes.
You're stuck in symptom management.
Yeah.
And you said about them stopping and taking a nap. And so, and most people in this area will know I lost my husband, and that was a rough year. And I went back to the Bible a million times to where God told Elijah to take a nap and eat a snack. And I
That's true.
I lived by that. Like, I would literally, at lunch, if it had been a rough morning, all of my girls that worked for me knew Jessica's in her truck, I'm eating a snack, and I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
And I would be like, that would reset my whole day.
That's what we do for babies when they start getting cranky. What do? You feed them and put them to bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which just so happens as adults we can go longer periods between.
Right, and toddler
Some of us
goes
can.
can.
There's a lot to be said for a snack and a nap.
Yeah.
I lived for 2 years, I swear. Like, that reset me.
Yeah.
It was, I could just take a nap and a snack. I don't do that as much anymore,
Uh-huh.
but that first couple of years when it was just so overwhelming, girl, I pulled an Elijah.
Yeah.
And I got me a nap and a snack, and I think that, and we feel guilty about that.
Right.
And so then we get anxiety because we're tired, but we can't take, and that's, again, we're fight or flight. We are fighting the flow of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and why? Why
Yes.
fight that? I mean, it is what we are tuned into, whether we realize it or not, and whether we're junking stuff on top of that flow or not, we're connected to that. You might as well align with it, and man, I mean, so much in this body will just be better. It'll be happier, it'll be healthier, and it'll be healed instead of just healing. Just you're in this routine of healing. Let's get to healed. And I think you can do that with your mind. Something I did want to point out, one of those adages is you are what you eat. And I don't know why this came to my mind, because it's all about what we're talking about. You are what you eat. But you are what you ingest in the ears too. So what you're listening to, whether that's self-talk or other people say to you or other people just saying around you, maybe it's not necessarily calling you names, but they're just spitting this negative talk out, you're eating that. And you're becoming that. So that's
Music.
big on me. Music is huge.
Big on music. Of course, okay, I spent a lot of time in Fort Worth. Love some red dirt country, okay? But I've got to where I can't hardly listen to it.
Yeah.
And now I've raised my kid on it, so I've got to listen to it, right? But as now a single woman in this world, I got to thinking. And I'm listening to all these heartbreak songs.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is becoming my reality. And I was like, why am I relating to them?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're becoming my reality.
Right.
Because it's all I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we realize the chorus of a song, how much impact it has on who we are.
Yes.
And so, I love that. Like the ingesting.
Yes. It's not just what you eat. I mean, it is, but it's not all. That's not all of it. So yeah, you are what you eat. Watch what you ingest. All of it. Is there anything else that, I feel like we talked about so much. Is there anything you want to reiterate? Is there anything else you want to talk about? What else is there?
I hope the biggest takeaway is just to kind of find small ways to add in eating the right foods that are going to help lower those cortisol levels. Find time to relax, even if it's only 10 minutes a day. Get more water in, get more exercise in.
Yeah. And by all means, don't just check out and say, well, everybody's living this way, so I might as well. Don't get in that rut of, well, I'm getting old, so I need to feel this way. No, you don't. You don't. God did not design you to feel like garbage. He designed you to feel really good. And so living holistically well, paying attention to things like cortisol. You don't even have to know the scientific breakdown of it and all that. Just know what creates high cortisol levels in your body, which is stress. What else? What you
The
eat.
stress, that your constant fight or flight mode, that go, never taking time to relax, and what you eating, excess caffeine, alcohol, processed foods. Saturated fats.
And so processed foods and preservatives, I think that's become such a buzzword. So let's just break that down. What does that mean? When I'm in the grocery store, where are the processed foods? What are
They're
those?
in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle.
Anything that is
In the
a
middle, we talked
package-
about that.
Anything that's in a package or a can. It's got a lot of preservatives in it, a lot of additives they're not healthy for the cells, can actually break down cells.
Wow.
Now the only exception I will make is frozen vegetables. You can shop the frozen vegetables and the frozen chicken in the packages.
The dark chocolate out. No,
Absolutely, it's a great antioxidant. There's nothing wrong with that.
what you
My
said.
favorite little snack right now that we are trying to change, our eating habits Or those little yogurt bars that are covered in dark chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
Those are
Love
good.
them.
Those are good.
Yes, and
60 calories.
Those are really good.
And I
Those are
love those. So that is, we are allowed, and I tell my clients, pick 2 aisles,
Mhm.
and that's it. Like, make it a game
Yeah.
that I can go down 2 aisles. Mine is always the dark chocolate aisle and the herbal tea aisle.
Yeah.
Like, those are my 2 middle aisles. My daughter, she gets aggravated because she's like, which normally she'll then just like send me back to the store later. But that's what she's like, only 2. And I'm like, yes, like we're eating healthy,
Yeah.
only 2.
Yeah.
And so,
I
but
see you. Yeah, we're eating healthy.
yes,
We're eating healthy. Whether we like it or not, we're eating healthy.
And so, but yeah, and what you said about the one small thing a day, all my clients in this area are probably so sick of me hearing this, but do one step
Yes.
toward the woman you want to be.
Yeah.
And if you move one step, whether it's a baby step, you're further than you were yesterday.
Yes.
And so it doesn't have to be moving mountains in one day.
No.
It
But
just,
it'll create that snowball effect.
Oh, we will.
momentum.
Even replace your green beans, your canned beans with the
Yeah.
fresh ones.
Yes.
Yes, and there's
Baby
so much,
steps.
So much better.
Uh-huh.
Girl, I
I
can't
used to
steps.
would not eat a crisp vegetable, and now I cannot
Yeah.
stand
Soggy,
those soggy,
canned
mushy.
stuff.
Well, we don't do
I think I've said so far on every podcast, just no cans. Say no to cans. We always get around to that.
Right.
I have really enjoyed this
Absolutely.
segment. I've enjoyed it. Thank
Maybe
you for
we're gonna
being
do a
here
part
all the
2.
time. We'll have to have you back. Dr. Brandi Hill.
Anytime.
Dr. Hill is with Hill Chiropractic Care. Jessica Parker is with Heaven Bound Earth Zone Skincare and Life Coaching. I'm with Long Dog Yoga and Wellness. And I will leave you with this. Live rooted, not rushed. Choose intention over reaction, and you will be what?
Radiant.
Radiant. You will be radiant.
You've been watching Rooted and Radiant, an original presentation of the Ashley News Observer. Rooted and Radiant. To be a participating sponsor of this podcast or any other podcast, contact Sarah Stagg at the Ashley News Observer. You've been watching Rooted and Radiant, an original presentation of the Ashley News Observer. Rooted and Radiant. To be a participating sponsor of this podcast or any other podcast, contact Sarah Stagg at the Ashley News Observer.